Where's everybody? Right, that's exactly right. All right. Everybody has to have an Achilles heel. That's fine.
Man, I does.
There's a little switch down there.
Can you hear that cracking, the level of it?
So, wait, we can go with 4. It doesn't matter, right? Just have to be here. No.
Right, but it turns on the mics.
Yeah, we can. Yeah. Give it a couple minutes. No, we'll just go with 4, at least get started. Just give them another minute. And easier. All right. This thing's getting on my nerves. I'm going to need you guys to slide a little bit. I've been blinding myself. Okay. And we good? Good? Yes. Yeah, hang on one second. All right, the Svaney Township Board of Zoning Appeals meeting is now called to order. We'll have the roll call, please.
Mr. Bowler?
Here.
Mr. Schlechter?
Here.
Mr. Hilbert?
Here.
Mr. Miller?
Here.
Mr. Hayes?
Here.
Okay. Is there a motion? Have we seen the minutes from last meeting? Yeah, I was going to say. Daryl, did we get the minutes from last? I don't recall seeing those.
Yes. Oh, I thought you forwarded that on.
Okay, so we'll hold off on approving July's, so we'll do that next month. Meantime, is there any old business? There being none, we'll move on to new business. And the first new business, we have a variance request from 10 foot required to 6.5 foot provided. There is a correction on it. It should be on the east side of the property, not the west. I think we published it as west, but it's the east side of the property. For the property located at 6626 Blossman Road. And can we get the staff report, please? Sorry. Oh, yeah. I'll get staff and then. All right, let's do it now. Sorry. Okay, before we start, anybody who may be testifying today, please raise your right hand. Okay. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Thanks for that. Now we'll do the staff report.
Section 703 of the Sylvania Township zoning resolution requires a 10-foot side setback for primary buildings within an RA suburban residential zone district. A single-family dwelling on the subject property, originally built in 1942 and with subsequent additions, is currently sited 10 feet from the eastern property line. A single-family dwelling to the east is a little over 100 feet away from the subject property line. The applicants are seeking a variance to this 10-foot setback requirement in order to rebuild a single-family dwelling 6.5 feet from the eastern property line. This represents a variance of 3.5 feet. The applicants wish to maintain the existing foundation on the west side of the structure and square off the house at the same time making it ADA accessible. The Sylvania Township zoning staff acknowledges that the request of the applicant is a reasonable one given the interest in making these dwellings ADA compliant while utilizing the existing west wall of the structure. However, staff finds no special conditions, circumstances, or hardships to the property that would necessitate a variance from the requirements of Section 703 of the zoning resolution. Therefore, staff recommends denial of the 3.5-foot variance request to the side setback requirement of 10 feet in an RA to 6.5 feet for the property located at 6626 Blossman Road.
Okay. Unless the board has any questions, we'll ask if there's anybody here to speak on behalf of this matter. And if there is, we could ask you to approach the podium and sign in right there. Sign in and tell us your name, please.
Hello, my name is Stephen Morris, owner of the said address. when we asked for this address, I don't know if these blueprints were in order.
They weren't.
Could I give these to everybody?
Sure.
So I completed the request, and after I got
And
the
you are?
response, I'm his wife and co-owner. After being off on vacation and getting my email, recommended as a denial from township. I kind of feel like maybe we didn't provide enough information or the correct information. And so we've had to plan additional stuff beyond what we think was being asked for to try to help give the reasoning that we have for this.
To understand, the house was built many years ago, and addition after addition was put on. The foundation on the west side of the house is square to the property line. The addition on the east side of the house is 2 foot out of square. So the actual thing saying that it is 10 foot from the property line, it's actually only 9 foot from the existing line. And then it goes at an angle so that it's 11 foot out. I mean, it is completely out of square. What we're asking for is to move it over, and it's to 7 foot, not 6.5 foot. Square up my east side wall. I'm going to put a garage on the east side, or the west side. And if you look at the picture of the driveway, it makes it. I have a utility pole that is just on the west of that driveway that makes it impossible for a driveway to go in there without it. I have no way to move a utility pole. And on the back of page 8, you can clearly see it. The back corner there, where they show it square to the property line, it is. And it is. I have put up square lines that are posted on the property that you can see how bad it is. And the back wall of the house is square. Everything else is square except for the east wall of the property.
Okay, but so for our records, though, you still are asking for 6.5 feet.
Yes.
Is that?
And we may only use regular 3.5.
They're asking it to go down to 6.
Right.
Yeah.
3.5 feet go down to 6.5 feet. That's what I wanted to find out. Okay, because you mentioned 7 feet. Okay.
And the property to the east, Rick, my neighbor, that property used to belong to this property. He bought it from the owners before us. He has a shed in the back. He has no plans on ever building anything over there. I believe he's called up here and talked to everybody. He went to the UK. He called up, and he has no problem with it. It makes the whole property so much nicer.
And also, in speaking to Daryl just before this meeting, we have a sizable garage that we've built on this property. And Daryl's mentioned that, maybe it's concerned that it's a big barn garage, and it is. It's a big pole barn. Moving the driveway and having the side discharge garage actually helps us. The whole point of doing that, it was a late plan, and it was planned to do it to help make it seem scale with the size of the garage and basically somewhat cover the
If
garage.
you drive down Zone Road, you see my shop right there at the end.
That garage
that is it, is the garage. The house coming over the garage will block it. It'll put it more to
Do you
scale.
have any questions about what we're trying to say? Because somehow I feel like we're not saying it well.
We understand.
Okay.
For a long time.
Okay.
So was there a variance on the side of the garage? There's 5 feet there?
See, there's 5 foot. I have a question, Chairman.
Yes, go ahead, Mr.
The garage sits 5 feet off the property line.
Mm-hmm.
Who built that? Did you get a variance
it's-
for that?
It's not a residential dwelling. It can be within, I believe, 3 foot.
Right. An accessory structure only has to be 3 feet off the side property line. And 6 from the rear.
Okay.
So there was no variance required for that.
That's fairly new. That was, what, about a year ago? Maybe?
Um,
Or not even.
I think the permits and everything got finalized in October of last year.
This is just for you're gonna live in this house? or-
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
We currently live across the street from this property.
Gotcha. You currently have approved, if I understand this right, approved additions for 5 foot by 37 foot.
Yes.
And when was that done? I
Probably close to a year ago. At the same time, we requested the approval for the garage.
And when we did that, that's when we found out how out of square the house was.
Oh.
Because, I mean, once we started putting
Well,
up
that part
lines,
started to make more-
and, I mean,
I see now.
it was way out of square. It's unbuildable out of square.
So, when we talk about hardship, what is the hardship other than the width of your house, starting from where your west foundation is larger than the zoning requirements suggest? So, what's the hardship?
The hardship is that I'd have no driveway to get back to the large, beautiful barn that I put in back of the house. With the garage going, we want a 24-foot garage on the side of the house that we're going to put in a side garage so that when you look at the house, you don't see garage doors. I got enough garage doors. We want to have wainscot and see you come in the side. I need to have at least a 10 to 12 foot driveway going back there. There is a telephone pole at the end of where it'd be right in the middle of the driveway if I don't.
But I
get it.
think one of the points is if you shrunk the size of your house, you would need a variance. I mean, and that's again the issue we struggle with. That when he's asking you for a hardship, it's
And-
hardship to get you exactly.
And then I might as well be one of the little Dave Webb houses I built down the street. I'm trying not to be a little Dave Webb house. It's a house I'm going to live in. We want a nice house, so when you come down Zone Avenue, you see it, and you don't see a large metal building.
What?
Dave Wise does a lot of houses in our neighborhood. No offense taken
Oh,
to
no,
Dave.
I talked to Dave because Dave actually called up here.
There was a reference to some ADA accessibility. Is there
So-
something being done that way?
That's my thought.
Again, can I just get to talking to
Sure,
Mike?
sorry.
It's a little easier.
So, hold on.
Thank you.
So house would have to be 28 and a half foot is the allowable width as it is right now in order to have it 32 foot. So at 28 and a half foot to have even close to what we're looking for, it is really incredibly, basically too small for us to do what we want to do. In order to put 3-foot doorways on the entire first floor and have room to basically a 4-foot sweep through so that if we ever had that need,
It's going to be me that has to do that. I have some.
But so understand that my dad recently built a house, and that was one of his things was that he built it, and the difference in that versus ours. We live in a kind of a small house that has additions. It was an older township property. Don't get me wrong. Where we live today, it's a beautiful house, but it's not. It would never allow us to have any accessibility rights because of how it is. So we were looking to.
We're
That was my
planning
mind.
What I'm asking you is
Yeah. If I want to have
is it
a
your intention then to make this an ADA compliant
the entire
Yes,
first
yes.
floor is intended to be that. Yes.
and this is
Nothing less than 3-foot doorways and full. And I don't know that that's what the requirement is, but that's what the plan is.
and this variance would accomplish an ADA compliant
Yes.
home.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody have any other questions or comments on this?
So where's the telephone pole?
It's not actually shown on there. But sorry. The big one, it is right about here. And actually, you probably can see it on that picture. If we could enlarge that.
It is right at the end of
If you
Zone.
follow zone straight over, it's.
It is right
Right
there.
there.
It is right.
Can you see it? I actually think
Oh,
that's
okay.
Well, it is the sign that says Blossman and Zone. It is right across the corner. It's 4 foot off the edge of the road. It's where my electric, I'm doing underground conduit. There you can see it right
Yeah, you can see
there.
it there. So that's where it is.
Where's that again?
That's where it is.
And you can see the stone driveway and the parking up front. We want to make it all landscaped and then have the drive go straight back, keep that nice
On the
tree.
west
And
side.
so it'll be a champagne shaped, straight driveway, champagne into that nice straight, symmetrical on each side.
But you could move that driveway over.
I can't, no, there's a sewer basin right there. The township has a sewer sticking out right there. I absolutely, unless the township would move that, I suppose, but there is a large catch basin.
That would be in your driveway if you moved it over to
That would be in the driveway. And I wouldn't have a problem with a catch basin in my driveway. Of course.
I mean, I'm just seeing you have 12 feet from the face of this optional garage here.
12 foot by the drawing, but I don't actually have that. I've got the orange paints. I went and laid it out the other day. It would give me 10 foot of driveway, and there'd be no way for her to back out of that garage and get onto the driveway.
Okay.
It's
Yeah, I understand.
stuck. And I have marked it all out. I sat with a tape measure and string lines and did everything possible to make it work right.
Talk about
Are we allowed to
Is
put a
this
restriction
on
that?
a crawl or a basement?
It is tri-level. It is
hardship I can see.
basement.
They're asking
Then first floor is up 14 inches,
Along
2
the
steps.
west wall, is that a crawl wall or a basement wall?
Crawl wall, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I would think so. I mean, that's how we're presenting it.
And on this plot plan, do you show this driveway access as it is shown here? Because I look here and it looks like it's moved to
way
the west.
over that. Yeah, this is, right here is where this driveway kind of comes right here, right now.
Is that?
We're wanting to move it over the pole of view
This
right
is for the
here.
architect to try to help us
Building an AD, so they were able
not
to build
have
an
that
ADA
garage
compliant
up
home.
here to be,
Are we allowed to
kind of
restrict?
And that's the basis
things
that
in
we're
scale.
renting, and that's the
Wider
hardship.
platform.
Right.
There's no other trees. We really want to keep the tree, of course.
Right, but that's what they,
Maple, there's no other trees anywhere.
there's a physical one with the driveway.
And doing anything else makes it so there's no
Beyond
way to
that, I
go.
don't see a reason to give it.
And even
For
if
that,
it
I
has to
would
be
give it.
nearer at the
But I
street
just
to
don't know if that's
accommodate the
And-
catch basin, I
and-
think that's.
I mean, I think it's pretty good.
And I've went right along that pole. I have a concrete contractor.
Right,
I lay
I
out a lot of
understand.
approaches
I mean,
to a
they're
lot
going
of
on record
driveways
saying
and,
they're gonna do My only thing
So,
is, if I'm voting for
we were
this,
having
is that
discussions
based
about
on them
moving
building-
the
they're
driveway.
doing this,
The
hardship
site
is
plan
that's
you
the
show
only way
as
they can
kind
do
of
it
an
to build an
example.
ADA compliant home. And they're willing to commit to
Looks
that.
like it moves the driveway approach to the west maybe
Yeah, 'cause
30
otherwise,
feet.
there
Yes.
really is no
Probably.
basis. That's how I look at it.
Is that a blacktop driveway or is it just stone?
It's stone right now.
It'll all be concrete when it's done.
So my question is, if you move it another 35 feet and don't reuse the western crawl wall, you don't need the variance.
Oh, but then the house would sit, I guess it'd sit crooked on the whole property there. I'd have
So-
to redo the west wall then. I mean, nothing is, I am 26.6 on the back of the property, 28 on the front. I
Right,
mean,
but
it's-
you're telling me you're going to reuse the left crawl wall. That's it.
Yeah.
Everything else
And it's
is
already-
doing new.
Yes,
been
the
redone
back
to
wall,
secure.
back wall also, two sides of this are very straight. It's that east wall that is like this, that is
Right.
sideways. And it's already a foot over, according to my neighbor's fence, it's not 10 foot, it's 9 foot.
Okay.
Prior to us merging, this used to be 2 lots and we merged them, right? The drawing that Aries had prior to that change showed the differences. Actually showed that at one point the addition that was built in the front was 23 foot in the front, 22 at the back. I mean, the original Aries site actually did used to show some of the problems that you can't see today.
Okay. We can to do a motion? If we need to talk a few minutes, or if we want to talk a couple minutes? Okay. All right, we're going to adjourn just momentarily to talk about
Here's
this.
the next one, and then we just take them both at the adjournment?
I just have a feeling the next one may take a little bit,
Oh,
just so they get about 5 minutes plus. I think this one might take a minute. So we're going to adjourn momentarily, and we'll be right back. Okay. Oh, boy. Okay. We're back in session, and I would ask,
You ought to probably ask him.
do we have a motion on this variance request from 10 feet required to 6.5 feet provided?
Yes, I'll make a motion for the variance request from 10 feet required to 6 foot.
Could I interrupt? I think you should explain what you're going to, what you're looking for here, and make sure that they're okay with that.
No,
It's a condition I'm going to put on the
Yeah,
motion.
and then I'll make sure we'll make sure they understand. Yes.
Is that fine?
No, you're absolutely.
So I'll make a motion for the variance request from 10 foot required to 6 foot, 6.5 feet provided, east side of the property. Is that correct?
Correct.
East side of the property for the property located at 6626 Blossom Road, parcel number 7868941. And with this, we'd like to make a motion for the condition being that the house is ADA compliant. And I'll let-
Right. Does the applicant understand that? It was in your application. We just want to make sure.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Is there a second for that motion?
I'll second.
Did you want to talk any more about the ADA, or are we good there? Are you good, Dean?
It seems like they understand it.
Yeah, we're good.
Total ADA.
Absolutely.
We just want you to understand.
Yeah, that's.
Well, is there something?
Sinks, toilets, everything. Grab bars, the whole 9 yards it has to be.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's not a big deal.
No, absolutely, no, absolutely.
Did you feel like there was something?
Yeah,
No. We just want to make sure you understand it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. So you didn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Very good. I think we're ready for roll call.
Okay. Mr. Boland,
Yes.
Mr. Schlockberg,
No.
Mr. Hubbard,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Hayes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
So it passes.
It does pass. It does pass. Get a majority. Okay. Side.
Want your drawings back there?
Otherwise,
You're welcome.
thank you.
Okay. So now we have the other new business. We have 3 variance requests, taking one case together. The first variance request is for a front setback from 22.5 feet, previously approved, of which 35 foot is required, to 20 feet provided for the property located at 6636 West Central Avenue. The next one, and again, you'll see there's the requirements and then what had been approved from a previous variance when it was built for Walgreens. The second one is a variance request on the front landscape strip along Zone Avenue from 15 feet required to 0 provided for the property located at 6636 West Central Avenue. And the third one, there's, I believe, again, a correction from what your original packet. A variance request on the setback from a major roadway, Central Avenue, from 120 feet required to 95 feet provided for the property located at 6636 West Central Avenue. Staff report, please.
The subject property consists of a multi-lot, 2.3-acre parcel on Central Avenue with frontages along McCord Road, Central, and Zone Avenues. The 3 northernmost parcels are zoned RA suburban residential. The other 6 parcels are zoned C2 general commercial. The site was most recently used for a Walgreens retail pharmacy and prior to that a bank. The Walgreens store measured 14,466 square feet and had the minimum required parking spaces of 72 plus a drive-through. The applicant wishes to demolish this existing building and construct a 4,730 square foot, fast food restaurant with drive-through on the site. Per the Sylvania Township zoning resolution, 64 parking spaces are required. The proposed site plan indicates 79. 4 variances and an exception were granted by the Board of Zoning Appeals in 2007 for the previous use and remain attached to the property. 3 additional variances are requested by this applicant. The applicant states in their letter of intent that these additional variances are needed so that they can construct their prototypical building along the sidewalks, ADA parking spaces, drive aisle, and double drive-through lanes. Front setback variance along Zone Avenue. Section 1403 of the Sylvania Township zoning resolution requires a 35-foot front setback from the public right-of-way. In 2007, the BZA approved a 12.5-foot variance to allow a 22.5 feet setback. Today, the applicant is seeking an additional 2.5-foot variance in order to construct the proposed building 20 feet from the public right-of-way of Zone Avenue. Front landscape strip variance. Section 3001 of the Sylvania Township zoning resolution requires a 15-foot landscape strip along the street frontage on C-zone properties. In 2007, the BZA approved a variance to allow a 0-foot landscape strip. Since that time, ODOT has done a right-of-way take and created a diagonal right-of-way line at the intersection of Zone and Central Avenues. The applicant is requesting that the 0-foot landscape strip be extended along this diagonal line to where it would meet the 15-foot front landscape strip along Central Avenue. Setback on major roadways variance. Section 2222 of the zoning resolution dictates a building setback of 120 feet from center line to Central Avenue. The applicant is requesting a variance of 35 feet in order to construct a proposed restaurant 95 feet from center line. Sylvania Township zoning staff finds no exceptional circumstances, conditions, or hardships to warrant the requested variances. Rather, it is the size and configuration of the proposed development that's placing a constraint on the applicant. The previous use was comprised of a building nearly 10,000 square feet larger than the proposed restaurant and had almost the same amount of parking. The subject property is over 2 acres in size and can accommodate most commercial uses, including fast food restaurants. It further has the benefit of the previously approved variances and one exception. Therefore, the Sylvania Township zoning staff recommends denial of the requested variances to sections 1403, 3001, and 2222 of the Sylvania Township zoning resolution for the property at 6636 Central Avenue.
Okay. Any questions on the staff report? If there are none yet, we'll ask if there is somebody here to speak on behalf of this matter. I'll ask you to approach the podium, please. And sign in and give us your name.
My name is Gary Rouse. I'm with GBC Design. I'm the site engineer for Chick-fil-A. Address is 565 White Pond Drive, Akron, Ohio.
One large one in case anybody's having trouble seeing.
Well, this is a large lot on paper, 2.3 acres. It is a most unusual shaped lot. It's looks like it's a rectangle with part of it cut out. And what the problem is, there's a few problems. The east-west dimension along the pinch point there is 150 feet. So for Chick-fil-A to come from Zone Avenue and work in a westerly direction, we are putting in 3 foot of landscaping, which is 3 more than what's out there today. 12-foot drive-through lane, 5-foot sidewalk, standard building, standard walk out the front, ADA spaces along the front, required 24-foot drive aisle, the required 18-foot parking depth 5 foot of green space along the southerly line. And we're out of space. And in doing that, we push the building, instead of the 22.5 feet that's allowed by variance along Zone Avenue, we push that over 2.5 feet to 20 feet in order to get everything to fit in there. To further complicate things, as Mr. Grouse explained, DOT came in and took some land off of the front along Central Avenue, and instead of going in a due west to east direction, when they got to the corner, they cut the corner on a diagonal. In order for us to come over the required 15 foot of green space, that would cut in to where our drive-through lane is. So that the reason we're asking for the 0 feet to be carried around the corner about 15, 20 feet to where we can hook up to where the required 15 foot of green space along Central Avenue is. So it's just at the elbow, the outside elbow of the drive-through. And then lastly, from the center line, the required distance of the building setback is 120 feet, and we have 95 foot shown in there, which basically what we did, we came off of the required going from south to north, starting at the northerly line of Central. We came the required 15 feet. We put our double drive-through in, a little bit of green space, and then our building from south to north, and single drive-through lane on the north side where you pick up your food. And then we put a 14-foot green space in. We had a little bit extra left, not 25 feet, but a little bit extra. And then we're up against where the parking is. I'm not sure if you all have been to the Chick-fil-A at Talmadge and Sylvania, just up the road, about 3 miles. I'm told they do a very, very good business there. And Chick-fil-A, as that store was done a number of years ago, 5-6 years ago, and they've continued to try to get better with amount of parking, drive-through stack. So we have on here 33-car drive-through stack, which is large. I did the one at Talmadge and Sylvania. I don't remember what the drive-through stack is on that, but nowhere's near that. And we're showing 79 parking spaces on here. Again, this layout was directed to us by Chick-fil-A. They feel that's the amount of parking that they need in this particular location. They're very excited about this location, but the lot itself, for as big as it is, when you put on the setbacks, when you consider there's 3 frontages on here, it's a most unusual circumstance.
Thank you. Any questions yet from the board?
So you're reusing the stormwater
We are.
pond, and then this transformer where it sits, you're using that?
Yes. And we aren't touching anything over, and this site also has a little bit of a complication of being mostly commercial, some residential, and there were variances granted 8 years ago or whatever it was to build some parking, fence, and so on and so forth, and we're not touching anything over in that residential area.
Yeah, you stop at the existing walk, it looks like.
Yes.
Is it? Okay.
Okay, let me ask you about it would be the north side where you go into your, to pick up your food. You see how that becomes one lane?
Yes.
Okay. That's that property line along there, correct? And it goes all the way out to Ford Road, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Along that line, what do you propose to do along that line
for the residential people there?
Well, we have 5 foot of green space in there. We've made 5 foot of green space. We'll be putting landscaping in there.
How about a fence? Is there a fence?
I believe there already is a fence there.
Okay, but are you planning on putting a new fence up?
We weren't planning on it.
Okay, I'm just asking. Okay, let's talk about zone.
Okay?
Zone is where we have it right. Is there a sidewalk on the side of that there? Or we have the
Yes.
landscape,
Yeah,
we have the
there's a-
setback we need?
There's an existing sidewalk. Currently, there is no green space. We're proposing a 3 foot of green space.
Okay, but you'll still have that 15-foot off zone?
We don't have 15 foot of green space on zone, no. The variance was for 0, and we're actually, right now, the parking goes right up to the sidewalk on zone, and we're actually introducing 3 foot of green in there.
Okay. And there is a sidewalk that goes down through there?
There's a sidewalk within the right of way, yes, that's correct.
Okay. I looked at it, but I couldn't remember. And that would be, okay. And then I got, okay. That's good.
You are putting in 3 foot of, oh, there, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Finally see it. All right.
Right now, there are actually 3 access points off of zone, and we're closing the one closest to central. So the access will actually be, 150 feet off, or 200 feet probably off of Central Avenue, the access point onto zone, which is existing today.
All central.
From Central, about 200 feet to the north is where the access point onto zone will be, which exists today. We're closing the one that's about 40 feet off of Central Avenue.
Daryl, do you know what the distance from the center line is to the southerly edge of the Walgreen? I measured it about 160 feet.
I was going to say, I think I had got around 150, 155 when I did it. Just using the areas measurements.
That's what I just did.
Over here. You know what I'm saying? Over here.
Okay.
I got that.
Any other questions so far? Okay. Just wanted to make sure I see all the setbacks.
Sure.
How far to the car wash? Do you know what that one was? The other. No. Center line to the front.
Well, where the walkway or the drive-through is to the car washes you're asking?
Right.
I don't remember there getting a variance for the center line, so it must be at least 120.
If you look at, because the daycare looks to be somewhere around 100.
What?
The daycare that was there.
Oh, that's right, Aries is going to have
Right.
the car wash. I could try to look it up.
I'm just trying to get the general percent proximity.
Yeah.
Where what 95 feet looks like in relation to,
Yeah, that's still.
it's well in front of the office building
Right.
to the east.
But I mean, this I can name. I guess worry about this because
Is there a fence to the north of the property?
Yes, there is. Privacy fence along the residential, yes. Board on board wood.
Do we have multiple fronts here?
You have 3 frontages.
Frontage.
We have 3.
Zone, McCord, and Central.
All 3, that's what I wasn't, okay.
So you come in off the court.
Yes. There's a right
Property
in.
all the way down through there, correct?
Yes.
On the
end of the telephone company.
Yes.
Where you pull in, okay.
Yes.
And that fence along there, there's, I believe, 2 houses down through there. That's why I was asking about that fence.
It's over there, right here. There's a fence there. Right?
Yes.
Talking about right here, Al?
Yep.
Yes.
All the way along there.
Yes. There's a board on board. I'm guessing 8-foot high fence
That
wood.
was what the variance in 2007 allowed, an 8-foot high privacy fence in the residential zone. So otherwise, 6 foot would be the maximum.
So there's an 8-foot fence along there.
Yes.
Okay.
And again, what you see in the yellow up there is all residential area, and we're not touching anything in that area.
That's where that pond bed, right?
The pond is on, yes, it's on the east side. And that's how we'll be detaining our stormwater as well in that pond.
Should I say a few words and I'll be done?
Oh, please, Jerry.
I know you're anxiously awaiting.
Please, Jerry.
Just sign in and tell us.
I did sign in. I signed Marv Robon's name, so there you go. So anyway, I disagree obviously with Daryl. I seldom do that, but when I do, I'm always right. But this lot has particular piece of property. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to see that this has got some unusual characteristics to it. First of all, it's an L shape with a piece out here that's carved out of the middle of it. How those got there, I don't know, but it makes this site really only about this deep for development, okay, for any sensible development. If it wasn't the case, Walgreens wouldn't need 4 variances if this site could be developed without variances, okay? So we're not setting any precedent here by asking for variances. And the only real variance that's different than Walgreens is the one off of Central Avenue. And when we're asking, if we could have the site plan up there a minute. Okay, so the variance we're asking for here along zone, instead of having this building 22.5 feet, we're having it 20. It's a 2.5-foot variance, which is, minute. And then the other problem here is created by this unusual take that's in this diagonal fashion, which results in us asking for an extension of the already variance that says 0 landscaping. It's already there. We're just asking that it be extended here. And so the other thing that's problematic and unusual about this particular commercial piece is that you're hitting us with 3 frontages and 3 front yard setbacks. So we're on the bordering of 3 streets. If this was a side yard, which it truly is, you don't have a 10-foot setback for a building. And unfortunately, your code doesn't allow you to get any leeway if you have 2 fronts, and in this case, you have 3 fronts. And there's no leeway from a relaxation without coming here. So it is unusual, not only in its shape, but the fact that it has 3 frontages. And, so consequently, we think there's a number of circumstances and unusual situations that justify the variances. And as I said, the only one that's really new is the one off of Central Avenue for the building. And I dare say that I would imagine that if you go up and down Central, you will find variances or existence of buildings that are not within that 120, that are within that 120-foot setback. So,
Was there a Walgreens variance on that part of it, the setback from Central?
From Central, no.
There was none. Yeah, it's pretty far back now. Existing, you're right. I see. Okay.
You look at that site plan, Jerry, and it's possible to move that building to the north. You've got 14 feet of landscaping in there, and you've got extra parking. So it's possible to slide that down in less than its proximity to, not ideal, but I'm saying it's possible.
the critical thing here, Chick-fil-A dictates, so I'm representing the landowner, but the critical thing, if you've been to the one in Talmadge, and by the way, they're nice-looking buildings. It's the reason they're successful, which is not relevant to the variance request. But the stacking here is so vitally important to get it off of McCord. We all know what McCord is like at that intersection. And quite frankly, the main access and the real reason Chick-fil-A is interested in it is because you can go further north and go around that crazy building that's in the middle of all this and come out here onto McCord and take a left or a right. But I leave that up to the engineers and Chick-fil-A about moving the building.
Yeah, I mean, I think safety-wise, I think they've done a nice job of designing with a very good, it's a big stacking lane, which is great.
I don't know what else they put in there, I really don't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I couldn't believe Walgreens when it
yeah. But, I mean, at least, yeah, I would like you to address Tim's comment about whether you could just move the building a little bit north.
Yeah, I would say we could move it a little bit more. We do have 14-foot of green in there. We're asking for a 25-foot variance. You don't want to take that 14 down to 0. You'd have your cars overhanging into the drive-through lane, very uncomfortable. Anything more than that, then you start getting into the parking. And Chick-fil-A wants a lot of parking here. They're very excited about this site, and they want to make sure they have plenty of drive-through stack and plenty of parking. So to your point, I would say we could move the building back some, but I'm not sure where the 25 feet.
How much could you be comfortable with? What do you think?
Let's see here. Just looking to see what your landscape islands look like out here. Looks like they're 9 foot wide, the landscape islands. I would say we could move it back 5 feet very comfortably. If we get into 10 feet, and we only got 4 foot in there to do something, my fear is you can't do a whole lot of landscaping in 4 feet, anything meaningful.
Yeah, I don't like on Talmadge the proximity to the parking spaces for potbellies relevant to this drive-through. So I appreciate the buffer there. But you've got, I don't know, 10 more parking spots you need. I don't remember what you said.
It's 15 more. 64 is required.
Theoretically, you could get rid of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 parking spots and move the building down. That's what I'm saying. And lessen the landscape barrier. May not be ideal for the layout, I get it. I'm just saying, as I look at this plan,
Could be.
it's possible.
It's 32, is that 32 feet? I want to take a word for
I don't know about you, but I don't know. At lunchtime, I don't think I've ever parked in Chick-fil-A's parking lot, so I'm sure they're probably under parking spaces, but I mean, that place is always packed. I'm always in Potbelly's parking lot.
I believe I could sell reducing that 14 down to something else. I don't think I could sell Chick-fil-A on reducing their parking count.
That's spots, how much are they? That's 8 spots. They're over 15.
Yes.
So they'd still be over 7. You could have a nice landscape buffer and just eliminate one row of parking. At least the front setback could go away.
It's a tough site.
It's a very good point. You look at this thing on paper, 2.3 acres. Man, that's huge, And then you start looking at it. And to Jerry's point, you got 3 frontages out here. You got an ODOT right-of-way take with a goofy cutout at the end. If they would have gone straight, I wouldn't be asking for 3 variances, but they took the diagonal in there, so...
I'm going to go talk about it.
Okay. All right, we're going to adjourn for a little bit, Jerry,
Sure.
unless anyone else says. Is there anyone else here wanted to speak on this matter? Okay, we're going to adjourn for a few minutes, a little bit, and we'll be back.
Thank you. One of the gentlemen's points, you know, right, I won't like that at all. Yes. It's a totally different use. It's a big deal, kind of, but it is. Yeah, his are easy. Usually That's a water line. This is.
Is the center line straight? So it doesn't go in and out? See, on that drawing, it looks like the center line, but if you analyze the center line, it looks like it varies.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I must have drank too much cheap.
Well, that's a cheap stuff. You should drink good stuff.
At least ask before there's a motion.
Did you want to ask that question?
Yeah, I think we have a couple, but I want to have, well, I'll probably follow up whatever you're going to, I want to like to this, push it back. Now, if they push back, we can add some green space there. Okay, we're back in session. We have a few questions, a few more questions for Ray. You want to go first?
Yeah. So when you look at the design of the building, like right here, so what is this area right here that juts out? Right here.
Playground.
All right. My question is, does it have to be designed where it juts out like that, or if that building was squared off, you wouldn't need as much of a variance from the center line?
It's a prototypical building, and so I would say, does it have to? I don't know if "have to" is the word, but that's not something I could comfortably concede as the building shape. I don't know what I'd be doing to the building if I just
Right.
whacked off.
But I'm just saying that's, I don't have a scale here, but I'm telling you that's probably 12 feet from, say, the most, the southeasterly corner to the, to the part
That's-
of the bump out.
Probably a good guesstimate.
Okay.
And I think we're trying to get as, that setback from Central is a concern. We're trying to work with you to get what we can to have that shifted over. You're going to get, that's the only place really that you even needed the landscape variance is in that corner.
Yes.
So, if we pushed everything back a little, you could at least get some of that back. And then also move the building back a little bit from Central Avenue. You said you thought comfortably you could do 5 feet?
I could do 5 feet comfortably. That would take that 14-foot of green space down to 9, which is what your landscape islands are, I believe. I'm just looking at the other islands that are on the site plan. If it would be, more than that, then it's more than that. I guess I'd be a little uncomfortable if it went down, if that 14 went down below, say, 5.
Yeah.
Then you start getting into overhang situations, and you can't really plant anything in there, and that parking right there is critical to Chick-fil-A. It's parking up close to the building, too. The parking spaces out by the residential, that's good. That's very, very good that they have that out there, but it's not something you aren't going to pull in. Hey, let me park out by the fence out there. So Chick-fil-A, as you all know, they're very customer-oriented. They want you to have a very, very positive experience, inside and out. They get their drive-through orders right every time. Your wait is, this is my estimate when I go, about 30 seconds per car. It's outstanding. They don't have waiting spaces because they don't need them. They get the orders right first time. Inside the experience, you go in there, they refresh your drink just like you're in a high-class restaurant. It's fast food for crying out loud, but they really try to treat you right in there.
Okay.
They like the play areas. They always have a play area for the kids.
Any other comments or questions on this?
Nope.
Think we could get 7-foot pushback? We
Yes.
could do the 7-foot?
Go from 14 to 7 in the green area.
Yeah.
So we're going 5.
What's that?
So we're going 5 feet. We're going to shorten it 5 feet, not 7.
I'm asking if you would go 7 feet.
Oh.
Yeah, instead of 5. Yeah, I'm asking if you would do 7 feet. And then if they're, so also do I understand, are we shifting the building? Or are you just lessening you're going to move the
No,
building?
I would move the building back and lessen the green space in there from 14 to, I suggested lessening it to 9, which is a 5-foot, and you just put on the table, moving it 7 feet, which would reduce it from 14 down to 7.
Okay, and then the last, then on the will that do anything then on our, on the 15-foot? Will that pick up a few feet on the landscape strip?
Yes, I can't stand up here and tell you exactly how many feet, but sure, it's going to help. If I move the building, if I lessen the green space, move the building back X number of feet, 5, I suggest 7 you put on the table, it is going to, the drive-through lane obviously is going to slide along with the building.
So where we've got it from 15 to 0, are you comfortable if we committed to 5 foot on your second variance? I don't want to box you in, but at least to know that there's something. I mean, it certainly can make it bigger than that, but at least we know there's.
I think we probably could.
Okay. That works for me.
I wish I had my tech with me because he could whip it out really fast, but I don't.
Would be 120 down to 102. I'm thinking right. So 15 down to 5 and 120 down to 102.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody have anything else they want to?
Put it up there, Timmy. Put that motion up there.
Nothing else? Anybody want to make a motion then?
So I will make 3 motions. First one being a variance request for a front setback from 22.5 feet previously approved at 20 feet, provided for the property located at 6636 West Central Avenue. That's motion number 1. Oh, we vote on that, yes.
Yeah, we'll vote one at a time.
Did second that anybody?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Bowling,
Yes.
Mr. Schlechter,
Yes.
Mr. Hubbard,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Hayes.
Yes.
I propose a motion to approve variance request on the front landscape strip along Zone Avenue from 15 feet to 5 feet, provided for the property located at 6636 West Central
I
Avenue.
thought that was 10 feet. Thought he was giving us 5, right? It's going to be 10 feet.
No, I think it's.
Right on the corner, I was at 0. I was maybe I was at 1, but pretty close to 0.
I was going to 5.
I was going to 5.
That's okay?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Second?
Vote. Mr. Boland?
Yes.
Mr. Schlechter?
Yes.
Mr. Hubbard?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
So I'll propose a motion to approve various variance requests on the setback from a major roadway, Central Avenue, from 120 feet required to 102 feet provided for the property located at 6636 West Central Avenue.
Is there a
That's second. That okay?
Let me think here. So I was asking for 95, add 7, that's 102. Yes, that's okay.
Second?
Vote. Mr. Boland?
Yes.
Mr. Schlechter?
Yes.
Mr. Hubbard?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
We look forward to having that occupied again. That would be good.
Yes.
Good luck over there.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, folks. Any other new business? Anybody have anything? And if not, I will make a motion for adjournment.
Second?
Or do I have a motion for adjournment? Try
I'll
that
make a
again.
motion to adjourn.
Second?
Okay, Mr. Boland?
Yes.
Mr. Schlechter?
Yes.
Mr. Hubbard?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, guys.
Better come quick, the house is moving, man.
I saw the sign up today.
What's up?
I walked by.
What up, Sunday?
It was good.
Not too late.
Final lake house. Hello. Gary, how you doing, buddy?
Some bending.
See you guys.
Some bending. I'm glad we took them. We got a little bit of landscape. We'll do that. It is a tough site. So you want, you guys got to err, let them have more stacking and more, parking. I mean, that's what you've been getting complaining. Oh my God, the cars are all over the place, nowhere to park.
Well, if it is a conforming
Did you get my text?
All right.
Fannie Mae
No,
or
I'm sorry.
Freddie
Did
Mac
you?
loan, then